Hey threadheads, Darren here. Welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. Today we're going to be tying up a small pattern I call the mirror dip. This is a variation of the older Serendipity, or a bit of a more recent pattern would be the $3 dip, or the purple death dip is one that I kind of mirrored this one after. So anyways, this is a pretty simple pattern. It's great to use as a dropper fly or for fishing in spots where you've got some picky fish. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and I'll get you entered into the next draw for stickers and some of the flies, including this one, in the next draw. Let's have a look at the material list here and get started. Alright, let's get a fresh hook in the vise. For a hook today, we're going to be using a Firehole barbless model number 633, and we're going to be tying this on a size 18. Now, I do believe this only goes down to either an 18 or perhaps a 20, so if you wanted to get into some of the smaller sizes, you're going to have to look for a different hook, something that's going to go into the range of around 20 to down to about 24 is probably about as small as I'd want to tie this. For thread, we're using a 70 denier 8/0 olive brown. We're just going to start by putting a little bit of thread on behind the eye just to get a base started. We're going to take a little piece of copper wire, and this is a small diameter copper wire, and we'll tie that in with a couple wraps of thread, and then we're going to tie in 2 pieces of the Flashabou Mirage, and this will give us a nice mirrored look to the final fly. So you want to make sure that you try and get these materials tied in all together, and that way we're going to keep our body fairly slim on the fly. We'll go into the bend of the hook just a little bit, just wrap around, then we'll bring our thread back up just behind the eye a little bit. We don't want to crowd the eye too much. We want to kind of give a little bit of room to form a nice dark head on this fly when we're done. So we'll start by wrapping up the Mirage in touching turns up to where we have our thread hanging, and then when we get there we'll tie that off with a couple wraps. I like to just tie that forward a little bit, fold it over, and then wrap back on it just to make sure that it's really secured. Trim off the tag ends of that. Then we're going to go ahead and take our copper wire and we're going to reverse wrap that just to give this fly a little bit of extra durability. Now, one step you could consider after you wrap your ribbing onto the fly is to add a coat of thin UV resin or epoxy, like the bone dry UV resin. We're going to skip that on this one here, and we're just going to go ahead and tie our copper wire off right at the head, and we're going to form just a tiny head on this fly, and we'll wiggle off that excess wire. And we're going to form a little wing that's pretty standard on these dip patterns. So for this one, I'm using a few strands of Congo hair. You can also use a emerger sparkle wing or a Zelon, something similar to that. Something that's got a little bit of natural sparkle to it, or like a trilobal fiber. So we'll just tie that in. We doubled it over, trim it off just to form our wing. You want that about half the body length, maybe a little bit shorter. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put a whip finish on this fly. But as you can see, there's not a lot to it, and if you wanted to prepare for a trip fairly quickly, this is probably a good pattern to choose. You can tie quite a few of these in a short period of time. We're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of UV resin just to the head of this fly. So we're just using a little bit of bone dry, just a little dab. And then we'll give that a quick blast with our UV torch, and we're good to go. This one's going to go in the box, and we're going to tie up a few more. We're going to tie some variations using some different colored threads as the underbody and stick with a dark head. Just a little bit of a twist on this fly. Hey fly tiers, thanks for stopping by and checking out my fly tying videos. If you enjoyed the video and want to show your support, hit the thumbs up and share it to your social networks. I hope you consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, be sure to hit the bell icon to get notifications on my latest fly patterns, tips, and reviews. If you have a question or comment, leave a message below. You'll also be entered into the next draw for some of the flies I tie and a few stickers. Until next time, this is Darren saying, keep a hook in your vise. Cheers.